Next, we have with us Ms. Aarti Somashekhar, a business journalist with Reuters. Aarti heads a team of reporters specializing in covering North American oil and gas companies' markets. Previously, she worked with the UK team at Reuters, covering Brexit's impact on the business world. She has also worked as a breaking news reporter and a tech reporter, covering some of the world's biggest companies, including Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and Disney. After graduating from Christ in 2014, she joined Reuters for campus placements. Welcome back, ma'am. I invite you to take over.
So, hi, thank you so much for inviting me here. I'm really grateful for the opportunity. And I just wanted to start off by talking a little bit about what I do. And then from there, I thought we could sort of dab into media literacy a bit as well. So, as the introduction said, I'm a business journalist with Reuters. I've been working with them for about 6 years now. And frankly, when I was studying at Christ, I did not think that business journalism is something that I would end up doing at all. It was a completely new field for me. And well, I've stuck around for 6 years, so I think something sort of clicked and I found it fascinating over time. So, just to give you a sense of what business journalism is or what business journalists do, uh, we often, when we look at sort of the business pages of newspapers, we often get bombarded with a whole lot of words that we may not necessarily understand. It seems technical, there's a lot of numbers in there. But what we often don't realize is that just like every other news, just like political news, just like civic news, business journalism at its core is also about people. And instead of thinking of it as a whole lot of words, a whole lot of technicalities, I would urge you to think about business journalism as companies where you shop from, companies restaurants where you eat at, where your parents have worked, and that sort of puts it in context for you, right? And given just if you take the current scenario in news, day in and day out, if you pick up a newspaper, if you turn on a news channel, we see the human toll of coronavirus. We read about the number of cases, we hear about what's happening at hospitals, we look at graphs and charts showing spikes. The other side of it is that there is an economic toll to this, and that is what, as business journalists, we often tackle. What we look at are, say, how have the shops around us done? How have the restaurants around us fared? How have the job markets been? Let's take an example. Because of coronavirus, we've seen a massive lockdown, and for the past few months, air travel has reduced. So the question is, how are airlines doing? If there are fewer jobs in airlines, what's happening to the pilots who work there? What's happening to the ground staff who work there? Or let's take another example. Most of you are familiar with, say, Zoom cars in Bangalore. But what's happened over the last few months is that a lot of the rental cars, because given the lockdowns, nobody has been renting out cars as much. So some of the competitors to, say, a Zoom car has gone out of business, in fact. So this is the kind of thing that we look at as business journalists, and how it sort of ties back to our lives is, like I said, it's the companies that you will go on to work at eventually. For example, Reuters, which is the organization I'm part of, is part of a larger organization called Thomson Reuters, and that's in fact something that we write about as well. So we as business journalists have to write about our own businesses. We write about the media business as a whole as well. So it's a very interesting field. But to place sort of Reuters in the context of news organizations as a whole, how it sort of differs is in terms of um, Reuters is a news agency, or a news wire, as it's called, rather than a print media organization or a broadcast organization or a multimedia organization. So I think that sort of ties in well with the idea of media literacy a bit, simply because each the medium through which we communicate, me as a newswire reporter versus a broadcast journalist versus a print media journalist, the medium itself also contributes a lot to media literacy. It's very important to be aware of that. So what does a news agency do? So what we do is we write a lot of articles that get picked up by other media organizations, right? So Times of India would pick up our article, Hindu would pick up our article, and NDTV would pick up our article. So what happens is, what we try and do is present a wide range of facts. And we try and put an article out there which gets picked up by the newspapers, by the news channels, and they sort of either publish it as is, or they tweak it, they cut it, they edit it, and publish it. So being part of a news agency or a wire service works slightly different from being part of a news organization itself. So when you talk about media literacy, if you do like a quick Google search, you would have seen all of these charts and tables that give you a representation of what's called media bias. At what end of the spectrum do different organizations sort of lie? You have ones that are neutral, you have ones that lean more towards right, and you have the ones that lean more towards left, and you'll see all these charts. So I think when you talk about media literacy, it is very, very, very important that you identify at what end of the spectrum, or where in the spectrum would you plot yourself and your organization, right? You need to have a clear understanding of that. And ideally, as journalists, what you will need to work towards is to free yourself of those biases. Now, how do you do that? Practically, I mean, it's very easy to say that, okay, we will free ourselves of biases. But what often happens is that in a real world scenario, it's harder to sort of put that in practice. So the easiest way to start off with, and I would say this, is to always look at both sides of the story. I mean, some of the previous speakers have touched upon sourcing a bit, so I'm going to look at more the other side of it. When you actually write it, what happens? You have the news, but always look at both sides of the story. If, say, company A is saying XX about company B, or person A is saying so and so about person B, it's very important to give both of them a voice in your story, in your article, in whatever piece it is that you're doing. Because without that, you're always going to be biased to one side or the other. It's the other thing I want to touch upon is how important it is to sort of try and remove your biases. And these may not even be conscious. For example, as a woman, as an Indian, when I try and write a story, that will obviously be a very intrinsic part of my identity, and that I really can't do away with that, right? So the best I can do is sort of try and separate that from the article I write. And I would say that those are the two things that I would, as people who create the content, as journalists who write the article, it's important for me to be as media literate as the audience who read the article is, right? So that's one thing I would definitely ask all of you to keep in mind. The other bit I would say is read everything. Read, you both as a journalist and as a consumer, read everything that comes your way. So a good part of my job involves writing, but a good few hours are spent on reading what everybody else has written about on the same topic, right? So I will look at a BBC article, a Bloomberg article. If I'm writing a story about India, I will look at an NDTV Profit article and see what are the different viewpoints that different people have laid out. And as a consumer, it's very important to do this simply because, like I said, every organization has its own biases, and each reporter have their own identities, right? So the more you read, you encompass a whole range of perspectives, yeah, and you are able to make a more informed decision. Now, it's the same when you are a journalist. It's very important to read all your competitors out there so that you know what stance you will sort of end up taking at the end of all of this, right? So those are the two things that I wanted to mainly discuss. But also, I think it's very important to look at how journalism is sort of evolving over time. I always thought growing up, whenever the idea of journalism was discussed, that it was primarily newspapers or TV channels. However, as an international business journalist, I primarily cover UK and US. What often happens is that most of the news that I write and gets read is read on Twitter, is read on Facebook, is read on LinkedIn. It's mostly and primarily through social media platforms. Most of my sources are come through Twitter or LinkedIn in most cases. So what often happens is that it's very important to keep the medium in mind. News has, the way it's disseminated has changed drastically. And how is content consumed on Twitter versus how it used to be consumed when somebody read a newspaper is very, very different at the moment. And so is the kind of feedback you get. People are more vocal on Twitter. People can give you sort of immediate, instantaneous responses to your articles on Twitter in a way just wasn't as easy when it was a newspaper or a news channel. So I would say keep that in mind. Look at the mediums that you write for. Look at how you engage with your audience. So yeah, these are the few things that come to my mind. It's a great time to be a journalist. Simply because there is so much going on around the world. Since I joined the newsroom, I was in a newsroom when Trump was elected president. I was in a newsroom when Britain voted to leave the European Union. I am in the newsroom when coronavirus is happening, and there is so much news to be written about and covered. And as journalists, it's important to remember that you are sort of a documentarian. Your objective is to document what's going on around you in the best and ideally the most impartial manner possible. And I think that is at the core of media literacy as the person who writes the content. So yeah, that's roughly everything that I wanted to talk about.